Hello, here is my video one for the Advanced Technologies module. The aim of this project was to create an interactive experience using modern advanced technologies that help to include people with disabilities in the world of video games, specifically focusing on people with low cognitive function and low mobility who may struggle to make full use of a controller, mouse, or keyboard. Heron et al. Has explained in their conference paper in 2013 that there are two distinct types of issues faced by people with disabilities when playing video games, and that is critical and non-critical. Critical being determined by the player's ability to participate in the game at all. Non-critical is where a player can still take part in the game but at a reduced experience, meaning they are unable to make full use of all features of the game, but can still take part and play. During this project, the focus is put only into non-critical issues faced by someone that has low cognitive function. Other solid examples of games that include accessibility parameters are Celeste, made by Extremely OK Games, has a modern mode that can be switched on right at the beginning of the game that will make the overall difficulty lower and slows down the general pace of the game through movement and enemies. Insomniac Games Spider-Man 2, which was released in 2023, is similar to this project with its accessibility options that allow players to change the parameters of fighting to make it easier for people with low cognitive function. As explained in the report, a strategy that can be implemented to assist players with disabilities is to increase the time needed to accomplish a task. Heron et al. Stated in 2013 the automation of features that would usually be an extra challenge to the player allows for a greater level of inclusivity. Automation also helps lower stimulation and helps players avoid getting overwhelmed because they now have a lower number of elements to concentrate on. Here is a list of all the parameters that were successfully implemented and their purposes in line with the methodologies just defined. Enemy movement speed slider and increased attack cooldowns have been implemented to assist the player by slowing down the overall gameplay. The aim assist helps players by automating certain parameters. Um, the ability to stop the ranged enemy from healing and the enemy outline assists in making things a little bit more visible and again slowing down the gameplay. Um, the enemy has been created using behavior trees and the EQS system within Unreal. Overall, the accessibility parameters are successful in making the enemies easier for the player to defeat. It does this by making use of techniques that have been previously tried and evaluated, but have been adapted for the context at hand. The context being defined as developing an NPC enemy with accessibility parameters that make it easier for someone who has low cognitive function and mobility. If the project was to continue, the best direction to go in would be to develop a third character that can be switched on in-game in the settings, similar to the other two, that would assist the player in defeating the enemies. This character would also possess the accessibility parameters, allowing the user to decide the level of assistance for their capabilities. That is all. Thank you very much. This video will go into detail on the graffiti project that has been developed for Bristol-based artists. At its most simple form, the project idea was to develop an augmented reality graffiti painting app. This has been accomplished, and as can be seen, a paintable canvas has been implemented. This canvas is accompanied by UI elements that allow the user to select brush type and color. The main inspiration for this project comes from the Playable Cities concept, specifically the Bristol one that took place in 2020. They create playable spaces to bring people together and get them thinking about the city they live in. During the Bristol expedition, there was an instalment placed in Stokes Croft named Playable Cities Sandbox Fireflies. Created by Screaming Colour and Arcane. As can be seen, it included augmented reality graffiti, as is about making the city come to life by expressing Bristol artistic and musical culture.
So Fireflies is an augmented reality experience that we're running at Lakota, which is a club in Bristol. So our audience, through their mobile phone, they'll point that at this beautiful mural on the side of the building, and we're going to convert that into a portal into another dimension.
One application that is released on the Apple Store in 2025 is very similar to what is being created for this project. The application, named Graffiti Spray AR by Philip Zay in 2019, is created to paint graffiti in augmented reality. The paintable canvas is set up using Unity version 2021.3.45 F1 and Unity's AR plugin packages, specifically AR Foundation, AR Kit XR, AR Core, XR plugins, and OpenXR. To further define what each of these do, AR Foundation is for developing game objects and menu items for creating an AR setup, and mono behaviors that control AR session lifecycle and create game objects from detective real world trackable features, scale handling and face tracking also. AR Kit XR and AR Core XR plugins are responsible for Apple and Android development respectively. OpenXR is an open royalty-free standard developed by Kronos that aims to simplify AR and VR development by allowing developers to target a wide range of AR VR devices. Um, More information on this can be found on Unity's website. The augmented reality system is set up using Unity 2021's AR Core template. This has provided us with a sample scene that can be set up in such a way that it can attach game objects to the first detected plane. Issues can be faced with this depending on the area and lighting, and Unity's plane detection can sometimes be a bit temperamental, but it works with some persuasion. The painting system at its rawest form is created using a line trace from the center of the augmented reality camera to the canvas, returning the location it hits. It paints onto the canvas using the brush texture that has been selected by updating the material on the canvas, adding the brush strokes to it as they occur. The canvas can then be reset using the UI button Erase All by simply resetting the texture to its original color set. Similarly, the brush's color and brush type can be selected in the same way. It registers the press and then sets the color of the brush type to be that texture and color.